Welcome to Mr. Heaton's Math Lab, and in this video we're going to learn how to round to the nearest hundred. Before we start rounding, we need to understand what we mean when we say the hundreds place. So say for instance we have a value 546. Well, we call this number on the very right, we call that the ones place. We call this middle value, we call that the tens. And on the very left here, we call this the hundreds, and that's what we're going to take a look at. So let's do another example. Say we have the number 160. On the right, that's the ones place. The middle value is the tens, and on the very left, we call the hundreds. Now let's do an example of what we mean when we say rounding to the hundreds place. So we're going to look at that same number. We have 160. We have a number line that goes from 100 to 200. Now remember, the value on the left here, right, this 1, represents the hundreds place. That's why we say 100, right? 100, 200, 300, 400, those are our hundreds place. The idea of us rounding is for us to take this number 160 and figure out if we're rounding from the hundreds place. Is it closer to 100 or is it closer to 200? For us to do that, we can put 160 on our number line. And we take a line down the middle. Now for middle for us is going to be the number 150. Okay, it's any time that middle number is 5. And the idea is, from that middle line, are we closer to 200 or are we closer to 100? Well, you can see that we're on the right side. We're right here. So we're closer to 200. So for us to round to the hundreds place, the answer is going to be 200. We said that 160 is closer to 200. So when we round to 200. Now let's do another example. We have the number 60. Well, if we're going to round from the hundreds place, remember we put a line down the middle, which is at 50, and we go from 0 to 100. Well, 60 lies right here. It is on the right side of this, so it's closer to 100. So our answer will be 100. Now let's try the number 640. Now again, 600 is our hundredths place. And we have a number line, and it's not completely filled out. Well, for us to fill this out, we can put the number 600 here, 610, 620. We can fill this in with all sixes. Now, when we talk about rounding, again, we're going to talk about where do we put that middle line. That middle line will always be where the tens place is a 5. Okay, we look at that tens number. So we will put a line down the middle here, and now we have the number 640. Well, 640 is going to go right here. So is it closer to 600 or is it closer to 700? Well, because it's on this side, the answer is going to be 600. All right, now let's try another example. We have the number 285. Our number line is not completely filled out, so we'll have to fill this out. So we always start with 200, right? We take a look at the value on the left, right? We have 285. So 200 at the hundreds place will start on our left. We'll go to 300, right? Because you have 200, 300, 400. We want to just go up 100 more. So we can fill this in. This will be 210, 220, and so on. Whenever we're trying to figure out if this value, and where it rounds, we take a look at the 50 spot, right? Where the tens place is a 5 or 50. We put a line down the middle, and 285 is about right there. So is it closer to 200 or is it closer to 300? It's closer to 300, right? Here is our spot. It is pretty close to 300. So we know that the number 285 will round up to 300. Let's take a look now at the value of 849. If we fill out our number line, we'll go from 800 all the way to 900. We can put an 8 in between to make it easier for us to understand. And if we remember, we put a line down the middle at 850, and now we have the value 849. Well, 849 is about right here. So the question is it closer to 800 or is it closer to 900? Well, since it's on the left of our line, it's going to be closer to 800. So our answer will be 800. Now let's take a look at the number 651. If we fill out our number line, we always start with the value of the 600th place, or the 100th place here, on the very left. And we'll go up 100, so this will be 700 on the right. I'll fill in the 600 in each one of these. And remember, we put a middle line down where it's 650. Okay, so it's every time that the tens value is a 5, that will be our point where we know if the value is bigger or smaller based off of the middle number of 50, or in our case, 650. So now that we have the number 651, we know that that is right here. Well, it is closer, or it's on the right side of our middle line, and it's closer to 700, so our answer will be 700. Now what happens if our middle number is a 5? Again, we're going to put a middle line down at 50. I'll fill this out from 500 to 600. And now we have to ask the question is, what happens whenever we put a value that is right there on the middle? Is it going to be less than, or is it going to be greater than? Are we going to go from 600, or are we going to go and stay at 500? Well, the answer is that when it sits directly on that middle line, it actually will go up to being 600. At 549, if the value was right here, we would go back to 500. Any value from 550, 551, 599, all of those values will go up to 600. But if it is less than 550, say 549, or any value lower, we'll go back to 500. So now that we've established that that middle number of 50 is a point where we decide if it's going to stay the same hundredths value or if it's going to go up 100, we can use that to actually not use our number line anymore and look at the number directly. So for instance, if we have 910, we know that 10 is less than 50. Well, if that's the case, then this number is just going to stay the same. It would be 900. Okay, if we have 449, we know that 49, right, that 4 and the 9, it sits directly left of 50. If that's the case, if it's 50 or less, just like what we have here at the top, if the number is 49 or less, we round down to the nearest hundredths. Well, the hundredths value is a 4, so this answer is going to be 400. What if we have 751? We could also take a look and see that 50 is greater than 51, right? Or it's on the right side, it would be directly right here, so we'll round up. So 700, right, our hundredths place, if we round up, 700 goes to 800. Now let's try this last value. There's no hundredths place in front of it, we just have the number 89. Well, it's a little bit of a trick question, but we know if we went from 0 to 100, we're closer to 100 than we are 0. Or we can see it as the value is greater than 50, right? It's 89. So going from 89, we'll round up to 100. Now let's do a couple more examples. Now we have our definition at the top, right? If it's 50 or greater, or 49 or less, then we know to round up or round down. Well, 348, right? 48 is less than 50, right? It's 49 or less. So that tens number means that we're going to round down. When we round down, that just means that the hundredths place will stay the same. So the answer is 300. If we have 449, okay, we have 49 again. So 49 is less than, so we will just stay the same. The hundredths place won't move. Again, we have 400, so our answer will be 400. Now let's take a look at 650, right? 50 or greater, we round up. So we'll round up the hundredths place. We're at 600, we round up to 700. Okay, how about 751? Well, we got a 51 here, right? That's greater than 50. So we round up. So we go from 700 to 800. Now let's try 99. We took a look at this previously. So if we have 99, right, that's pretty close to 100, right? It's greater than 50, so we know we'll round up. If we have 185, 85 is greater than 50, so we round the hundredth value up. So 100 to 200. If we have the number 932, well, 32 is less than 49, or it's less than 50, so we know we round down, which means that the hundredth value stays the same, so our answer will be 900. Now let's try the number 261. 61 is greater than 50, so we'll round up. So we go from 200 to 300. If you're looking to take your math skills to the next level, check out Mr. Heaton's Math Lab. We offer a range of resources to help you succeed, from free workbooks and Common Core assessments to focused mini courses and comprehensive curriculum courses. Head over to www.mrheatonsmathlab.com to get started today.